What if most people never truly live? What if the greatest human failure is not death, but living an entire life the wrong way? What if success is not a good life? What if comfort is not peace? What if everything people spend their lives chasing was never worth chasing at all? Every morning, millions wake up. They work, they scroll, they consume, they repeat, and they call it life. But what if that is not life? What if it is only motion, routine, habit, distraction? What if most people do not truly live, but merely continue? More than 2,000 years ago, one man asked a question so dangerous. It still unsettles the modern world. Not how to become rich, not how to gain power, not how to be admired, but something far more uncomfortable. How should a human live? His name was Socrates, and he believed most people were already living the wrong answer. The man who changed the question. Why Socrates changed philosophy forever. Before Socrates, philosophy looked outward. It asked questions about the stars, the heavens, and the elements. What is the world made of? What is reality? What is the cosmos? But Socrates turned philosophy inward, away from the stars, toward the soul. He asked what a human being should become. What is justice? What is truth? What is virtue? What is a good life? Before you decide what to do with life, you must first decide what life is for. The human problem. Most people know how to survive, but not how to live. Socrates believed most people are not evil, they are unconscious. They know how to earn, but not how to live. They know how to impress, but not how to think. They know how to survive, but not what makes survival meaningful. They spend years building careers and never build a self. They decorate their lives, but neglect their soul. They chase status, wealth, and approval without ever asking whether these things make life good. Success is not the same as wisdom. Comfort is not the same as peace. The most dangerous life. The unexamined life. Socrates' most famous teaching was this. The unexamined life is not worth living. Not because life has no value, but because a life never questioned is a life never truly chosen. How much of what you call your life is actually yours? Your beliefs, ambitions, fears, desires, and values, how many were chosen by you? And how many were borrowed from the world around you? Most people do not live deliberately. They live by imitation, habit, and pressure. Socrates believed this is not living, it is drifting. And the most dangerous life is not the painful one, it is the automatic one. Know yourself. The first step to living well. At the center of Socratic wisdom is a simple command, know yourself. Not your image, your reputation, or your title, yourself. Who are you without approval? Who are you without the money or the mask? What do you truly value? What controls you? Most people know the world better than they know their own minds. Socrates believed self-knowledge is the beginning of wisdom because a person who does not understand himself cannot live deliberately. The first wisdom. Why intelligence is not wisdom? Socrates claimed, I know that I know nothing. This was not humility, it was discipline. Socrates understood that ignorance is not the greatest danger, false certainty is. Most people speak confidently about truth, love, and success until they are asked to explain what those words actually mean. Then, certainty collapses. Wisdom does not begin when you know more. It begins when you stop pretending. The method that breaks illusion. How Socrates hunted false thinking. Socrates did not preach, he questioned. He used questions like fire. not to destroy truth, but to burn away what is false. He would test an answer until it broke, exposing that most people possess untested opinions rather than actual understanding. The real goal of life. Not success, virtue. What is the goal of life? Not pleasure, wealth, or power. Socrates' answer was simple: virtue. The purpose of life is not to have more, it is to become better, more just, more disciplined, more honest, and more wise. The soul. Your inner life is your real life. Socrates believed the soul is the deepest core of who you are, your conscience, character, and reason. A person may gain wealth and lose himself, gain status and lose integrity. For Socrates, this is the worst trade a human can make, to gain the world and lose your soul. Why? People do wrong. Most people are not evil, they are mistaken. People do wrong because they do not truly understand the good. They mistake pleasure for happiness, power for strength, and status for worth. They are not merely immoral, they are confused, and that confusion becomes suffering. SELFM, is freedom. If desire rules you, you are not free. If anger, pleasure, or approval controls you, you are not free, you are ruled. Freedom is not indulgence, freedom is self-mastery. To rule desire before desire rules you, that is freedom. The hardest moral truth. It is better to suffer wrong than commit it. Socrates taught that it is better to suffer injustice than to commit it. Why? Because being harmed wounds your life, but doing harm wounds your soul. Pain can be survived. Moral decay is harder to recover from. Why Socrates chose death. He died rather than live falsely. When sentenced to death, Socrates refused to escape. To save his life by betraying the truth would cost more than death itself. He believed living falsely was the greatest evil. He drank the poison and proved he did not merely speak philosophy, he lived it. The answer. So how should a human live? Socrates' answer was clear. Examine your life. Know yourself. Seek truth. Discipline desire. Protect the soul. Choose virtue over comfort. Live not merely to survive, live to become worthy of existence. The final question. Are you truly living or only existing? Socrates gave humanity a question most people still avoid, not because it is difficult, but because it is dangerous. Once you ask it honestly, your life can no longer remain unconscious. How should a human live? That is not Socrates' question anymore. It is yours.